that I've got this port light in, it's time to get to this hatch and this hatch. Those aren't the only hatches. We've got, I don't know, a couple to put in for our summer breaks. So I gotta get busy. We actually have a couple more besides this. Still more coming in. We've been collecting them. But it'd be nice to get all the new hatches in before winter. At least that's the goal. So my first one is this one right here. I'll be excavating this out of the deck today. And this is a 24 or 20 by 20. I'm putting a 24 by 24 in. So I'll really have to build up the deck here, because if you look down, there's quite a bit of curvature to this deck here. So I will have to put some coaming around this. So let's get going. 5200 sure sticks. Looks like I gotta take it out in pieces. These hatches are probably 22 years old, 23 years old. Never leaked. Just time to replace. Okay, got it out in 2 pieces now. Let's see if I get this side off. Ugh. And this is why we're replacing them. Take a look at that. Some crazy going on there. Here's the new hatch, and I am laying it out right now for the cutout. So that's what I'm doing. It's gonna be quite a bit bigger. Should be nice, get a lot of airflow into this cabin. Okay, so I'm putting the coaming around the hatch now. What I do is I take Baltic mat and I soak it. I just layer it up to the thickness I want. I use a West System epoxy to saturate the Baltic mat first. Clean it up. Once this fires off, I'll use a Kaleido silica filler to sweep it into the deck. I may have to build another layer. This is just my first coat here. I did 3 layers of Baltic mat to build it up, and I've probably got it up a good 1/4 inch, maybe 5/16 of an inch so far. So once this fires off, I will sand it smooth and use a fairing compound to build it up the rest of the way. I wanted to put this down first though, because around the perimeter of the hatch, I didn't want to just build it up with thickened epoxy because I'm going to actually have screws going into this. This gives me much better screw holding capabilities than just thickened epoxy. And thickened epoxy tends to be a little brittle. So I always layer this as much as I can before I do the last little bit with thickened epoxy. Okay, I've added 4 layers of this Baltic mat on this side, a couple layers on this side, 2 layers, and I've feathered it down. So now my frame fits on here perfectly level. So next I will use thickened epoxy and just put a bead around here and put tape on the frame and then set the frame in the thickened epoxy, and that'll fill in all these little gaps. After that, I'll sand and fair and paint. Then my hatch coaming is done. Okay, I've taken epoxy and thickened it with colloidal silica. Now I'm going to put a bead around the entire perimeter here. I have finished the coaming around the hatch. I glassed it, faired it, sanded it. Now I just scuff sanded this entire deck right here with 220, and I am wiping it down with 333, which is a brushing liquid. It works twofold. It works nice as a tack cloth, get all the dust off, and it starts softening the paint a little, so the new paint can stick to it a lot better. Next is paint. Perfect day for it. Winter's coming here in Seattle, but look at today. It's gorgeous. No wind, 73 degrees. And this is September. Mid-September. Crazy. Okay, now that the paint is dry and the hatch is in, let's take a look at how this coaming turned out. I think it turned out pretty good. Happy with that. Okay, let's take a look at this hatch from the inside, how it turned out. Em, how you doing?
Good.
What do you think of your new hatch?
It's amazing. I can actually see out of it. Like the other one was smaller. It was like that.
And you couldn't even see through the glass.
And it was like, it looked like trying to look through fog.
I know.
So
And look at this. Don't you love it?
Yes.
Yeah, it turned out pretty good.
Awesome.
This is how the fairing turned out on the inside radiuses. Not too bad. Not perfect, but good enough for us, huh?
Yes.
Okay, Em. I got the hatch in the nick of time. rain hit, and boy did it come down. We hit torrential rains for about 3 days straight. Looks like I'm going to get a break. I've got 10 of the 11 hatches in. I've got 1 of the 12 port lights in. So I'm going to do what I can in between rain to get these things in. My next one, I've just set up, dried the decks, is right here. Believe it or not, it's about a 6-day project to get this in. This is a 20 by 20 hatch. I'm putting in a 24 by 24 hatch. So what I end up doing is cutting it out, and you see there's a radius to the deck here. So I'll have to build up coaming like I did the other side. And then after I build it up, prime, sand, paint, fair, everything to make it look pretty. Then I can put the hatch in. So I have a window here of a couple days, so I'm gonna jump on this one and start the port lights. I've taken all the fasteners out. Now the next step is just manhandle these hatches out. There's no other way to do it. They usually come out in pieces. We'll see if I can get this one in one piece. Looks like it might. Just depends if they used an adhesive or a sealant to put this in. This one looks more like a sealant, which is nice. Next thing is clean all this off. I don't have to get it all off because I'm going to be cutting a lot of this out. I just need to take most of it off so I get the saw in here flat. You know, it used to be intimidating cutting holes in the boat. But now, I've done so much now, you just plunge in and do it. It's not a big deal. Just like that. Okay, the next step is take this Baltic mat, and I use this to build up the coaming around the hatch, like this right here. I've already done it. So I'm piecing it in around here where I need to build up. Then it's just a matter of just marking it out. So I'll cut this out and layer it up about 4 layers thick on this side, saturated with epoxy, and I'm good to go. Got it saturated with epoxy and laid down a few layers of the Baltic mat. I'm going to let this fire off and sand it out and set the frame in and see how much more buildup I need. But we should be real close right here.
So what you did is what? Put the thickened epoxy on here like you did on the other side?
Yeah.
On top of the coaming?
I put tape on the back side of the flange here.
Okay.
And then I wiped a releasing agent on it so this would come off nice and clean.
Maybe.
Well, I used just a thin layer of cooking oil, but
Okay.
in theory this should just pop right off.
Do I get something?
Well, once I start prying,
Then I take that?
I want to make sure it comes out without bending the flange. That's the trick.
I know. That's what I'm...
Okay, here. Start working it that way.
Okay, the tape is pulling down.
Yeah, it should. Looks like it's gonna...
This is so It's like a cast.
Yeah, no.
Is what it is.
Okay, I think it's gonna come off. So just kind of pull up evenly as I do. Just grab. Ready?
Yeah.
Just nice and even. If it starts to bend, we'll stop. There you go.
And then you sand this down and then do some
Gotta
bearing.
peel all the tape off, and there'll be a lot of little imperfections in here that I'll fill in with epoxy first.
This is so
But it gives me the level I need.
I like that how everything is now raised, so then water can't just kind of
Pour in.
yeah.
Yeah, it is slick.
Especially since this is over our bed, our fur.
September 26th. This is unreal weather for Seattle. It's going to be in the mid 70s today and close to 80 tomorrow. So that means I am extending my summer just a little bit longer and getting some more deck work done. Now that I've finished building the coaming, I have scuffed this entire area, this deck here, with 220, and now I'm going to wipe it all down with Interlux 333. And then I'll get some paint down. Just enjoying the weather and getting as much deck work as I can before winter hits. Once winter hits, I'm heading inside. So this is the last of 11 hatches I've put in this summer. I am so excited. Rolled out the Interlux Brightside polyurethane. Got a nice coat on there. Actually, I have two coats around the coaming. I started around the coaming, put one coat on, let it skim over, and then did another heavy coat over the whole thing. We'll let this cure up today, and hopefully it is cured enough before the dew hits. If the dew hits before it starts to harden, it dullens the paint, and we've done that a couple of times. So hopefully we have enough time. We've got a couple hours before the dew will hit, probably about 5 hours, so we'll see how it goes.
Okay, huge milestone. This is officially done. Our 11th hatch has been officially installed, and we are done with all the hatches on this boat. It's felt like Groundhog's Day, because every single time Teal said he was done with the hatch, he moved on to the next one, and it just felt like it was just the same thing every single week. So I'm very excited. Looks good. Hopefully it doesn't leak.
It won't leak.
We'll see. I'm just kidding. Yeah, so we have a couple more projects to do before winter officially hits. I'm hoping to get some of the port lights in. So
We'll get them all in.
on to the next project.
Let's do it.
See ya.
If you like this episode of Onboard Lifestyle, then give us a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Now that all the hatches on SV Basic are installed, it's time to start our next project. Come back next week when we install the port lights, and I can finally see out of all of them. See you then!